I can see Greg talking, but I can't hear anything. Oh, there we go.
How you doing?
All right, and I see someone sometimes who goes up with a green shirt, but I don't see any head attached to that green shirt. Oh, there we go. All right.
We need a wide angle lens, I guess.
Or maybe sit on the other side of Greg.
I could do that. Then I'll be small.
Hello, Sophie.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
There's Cormac and
I think Anna Christina is walking over from Tasty Dumpling.
Oh, I had tasty dumpling for lunch today. It was
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
It's a map coming along good.
everything should be done. So I have 2 versions of the map. We finalized the chart, our chart, and the spreadsheet. I'm not. Wayne, I sent out an email saying, "Is there anything that we have outstanding?" But I don't think we.
I haven't, I go into the shared drive and I can't see the spreadsheets.
Anna Christina put that up there last night when we were on the Teams meeting. So I
Okay,
actually,
let me go
Right.
jump in there now.
yeah, maybe it needs to be refreshed or on the Google Drive.
Google Drive.
You literally dragged and dropped it.
As you spoke. Okay, let's find out. Let's go to Google Drive. Shared with me.
Yeah. That has the spreadsheet, the main spreadsheet, and the bar chart underneath.
Oh,
Hi, how's it
hear you
going?
there. And speak of Anna Christina.
I
there
was
she
in the
is.
wrong place.
Okay, what I see is something called the PDFs of UHI, the UHI, the LSC UHI, the letter to the city council, and the cooling solutions. And then I go inside the PDF, where the list where we're going to store all the PDFs to give to the city council. Script, map, heat island report, letter, draft, cooling solutions, and the chart.
Yeah, she named it chart. PDF.
Okay, well, that's bar chart.
Yeah, the bar chart, and it has the spreadsheet in there too.
Oh, no, you want the spreadsheet, the other spreadsheet as well?
What about, okay, one second, let's go back. Are we officially starting?
No, we don't have a quorum yet.
Okay, so I'll suck back all my words.
Oh, no, we do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have
We do.
Candace.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Okay, what about that spreadsheet that had the severities of heat island, like 5 levels, that one?
Oh, you mean the one that had broken down by neighborhoods?
Right. Like we had
That one is
5
not called
levels of
chart.
severity for each neighborhood?
Yeah, that one is not called chart. I forgot what the one's called. I can look where they're called and send it to you.
Okay, so we'll just, and then we'll include that as well as part of the package. Okay,
Candace.
you guys are going in and out. I see lips moving. I get nervous.
We were whispering.
Side topic.
No motions were made.
All right, okay.
All right, so is there more coordination we need to do first? Before we call the
No, do
meeting
you want me
order?
to just jump in and start it?
No, we need to go through the minutes for approval.
Oh, God forbid the minutes for approval. All right. Okay.
The meeting can start, I believe. I think we have a quorum.
I believe we do.
It sounds like we're not being told.
We are not, unfortunately, they can't televise us when we are not in City Hall.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna record the Zoom meeting and then I'll send the Zoom meeting to LTC and they'll post it on their YouTube channel and it'll just be a slightly different.
Our logo with the voices.
All right, so a little less pressure.
And I cut my hair for nothing.
I agree.
Yeah. So we have the minutes for approval from May 26th. Do we have a motion for accepting?
Yes, motion, accept.
Cormac motions, I second. These are approved.
I think that Sophie did a spectacular job.
Thank
You
you.
sure?
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
These minutes are.
Thanks.
Continued business. Urban heat island effect. Final letter to city council to discuss for the July 12th city council hearing. Member Flint, are you ready to jump into that?
Member Flint. Okay. Let me share screen.
What I'd like to do is go through the presentation and try to make sure that we have everything together that we want in the way that we want without taking too much time. So maybe we can take note of questions or issues and handle them. I don't know, at the end, is that possible?
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's good.
don't think there'll be that many issues, so.
Yeah,
Try to just keep our eye on the clock so that we have time for the summit planning.
okay, yes, I'm super aware of that and I will try and be super speedy. All right, do you see that map?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, basically, this is a repeat of what we did at the last meeting. I'm gonna try and talk fast. Okay. So this is a basic walkthrough. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to read the letter that Jay sends them, which is an intro to the walkthrough. Here goes. The Sustainability Council monitors the enormous amount of information that is constantly coming about issues concerning climate change. We pay particular attention to issues that affect New England, that affect urban areas, or are particularly dangerous. In the past year, we have learned some disturbing facts about heat in cities. We all know that it is getting hotter. Heat waves are getting more frequent and have higher temps than they used to. Cities are hotter than surrounding areas due to the presence of impervious surfaces like asphalt and concrete, which retain heat, and the lack of tree canopy, which provides shade. What caught our attention in particular is that heat waves are much more deadly than all other extreme weather put together, and seniors who live alone are most at risk. We have provided you with a report put out last year that does a deep dive on the hows and whys of the danger of extreme heat. Today, we want to focus on what this means for Lowell and its neighborhoods. We have two GIS experts on the council, Greg Studwell and Anna Cristina Fragoso, who gather data and a map that pinpoints hotspots in Lowell. They use public data sources that are commonly used in urban planning departments. This map is derived from 39,000 data points. Included in this packet, a map and spreadsheet of heat islands by neighborhood and level of heat, chart and spreadsheet of tree canopy and impervious surfaces for each neighborhood. Impervious surfaces are those that don't absorb water like concrete. A spreadsheet of total heat island acreage by neighborhood, a list of cooling solutions other than trees, and a short set of slides showing possible cooling options. Okay, this is a lot to absorb, so we thought the easiest way to explain all this was just by walking through the map and looking at the two charts that are on the map. Okay, on the map, the redder the area, the hotter it is. There are 5 levels of heat severity, from the lightest red of 1, meaning coolest, to darkest red of level 5, meaning hottest. The levels are based on what's average for a city's normal summer temperature. The level 1 for Phoenix would be higher than the one for Lowell. The heat severity range is relative to an average and not absolute values, but it is commonly an increase of about 1 degree every level. We found that not all neighborhoods are created equal. Oops, I put something in here called in the chart at the bottom of the map. Okay, I need some input here. This was the paragraph as written, and I hadn't gone in and changed it, and I need your opinion. In the chart at the bottom of the map, you can see that tree canopy ranges from 13% to 47%, Impervious surface ranges from 26% to 74%. And the amount of area of a neighborhood that can be considered a heat island ranges from 17% to 99%. This is shown in the small spreadsheet we have included. Okay, this obviously is confusing as heck, because I'm referring to spreadsheets that they aren't going to see necessarily when we're looking at the map. What do you recommend I do? Is it okay just to have that?
Yeah, I think, I'm speaking for myself, but I think it's okay to run through some statistics like impervious runs from 27 to 77% or whatever the numbers
Okay,
are.
okay,
I think that's okay.
okay. All right.
Anybody else feel differently?
Wonder if we're gonna mention all the caveats.
I can't hear that.
Mention any
Caveat,
caveats, like,
the fact that there's probably drainage in a lot of these areas that are impervious.
Oh, dear
oh yeah, I
God,
don't know,
Land
if we want to get
drainage,
into
all
that.
this other stuff.
please no caveats. This will be so confusing. I'm sure there'll be questions, and of course, I'll say, hey, here's Greg's email. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a minute to look at the small chart of percentage of heat islands in a neighborhood. Now, okay, I apologize. I didn't realize that this stuff was still in here. This was my bad. So this what here is a description of the heat island chart. Now, I don't think we should be having them look at that heat island chart.
Yeah, no,
Or
that's
we-
gonna be like backup information.
Okay, back up. So forget that paragraph. Okay, so let's see what the map is telling us. As our eye moves around, note that by the water, it is not red at all or very light red. For example, this shows that by the Concord River, it is cooler in lower Belvedere than in other spots in the neighborhood. We consider that the hottest neighborhoods were the ones with the most acres at the highest levels of heat. By far, the hottest neighborhood is Lower Highlands, where 99% is considered a heat island, which has no water source moderating the temperature. And from the chart, we can see that, and from the chart, we can see, let's say chart, yeah, from the chart, we can see low canopy and high impervious surfaces. 43% of Lower Highlands is considered a level 3 heat island. Compare this to South Lowell. It has the most canopy and the least amount of impervious surface, and most of its heat island is level 1, coming in at 32% of the neighborhood. It doesn't even have any level 4 or level 5 portions. Clearly, the moderating influences here are Donahue Park, the cemetery, and the Concord River. It has the same profile of high canopy to low impervious surface that Belvedere and Pawtucket have. While both have significant canopy, Pawtucket has considerably more, due of course to the forest. The hotspots in Pawtucketville are the North Campus of UMass and the University Avenue corridor, where the most amount of heat is level 1 at 8.4% of the neighborhood. The hotspot in Belvedere is Stadium Plaza and Colley Stadium. It has a similar heat profile, and that level 1 takes the most amount of heat island at 8.8% of the neighborhood. Some moderation influences and contributors to the canopy are Shed Park, the cemetery, and the fact that part of Belvedere is on a hill catching breezes. The area of the city with the most area at level 5, the hottest, is downtown. It comes in at about 6%, with other parts of the city coming in at around 2% at level 5. The heat severity in most of the heat island in downtown is level 4 at 14%, 14% of the total neighborhood. We can see from the chart that downtown has the smallest canopies and the most impervious surfaces. The total percentage of heat island for downtown is 90%. The cooling effect of the Merrimack is tempered some by the Concrete River walkway. All neighborhoods have very hot spots. Level 5. All neighborhoods have very hot spots, level 5, except for Belvedere and South Lowell. You would think that crowded Centerville would have more red, but the west side is Christian Hill, which has more canopy than east of Bridge Street. There's also a reservoir on top of the hill, and we know that water is a cooling feature. In addition, there is a large field on both the east and west side of Bridge Street. And again, like parts of Belvedere, Christian Hill is higher than the rest of the city and catches breezes other parts of the city don't have. The most level of heat severity is 1 in Centerville at about 16% of the neighborhood. Centerville is 48% heat island. The Acre is another area similar to Centerville in that parts of it are very crowded with much asphalt and pavement and few trees. It has 20% canopy and 60% impervious surfaces, and 26% is a level 3 heat island. It is likely not the worst heat island due to the moderating effect of the Merrimack River, the canal, Lawleshire Park, and North Common. The Acre is 73% heat island. Sacred Heart is a hot neighborhood in part due to bordering the lower highlands and back central, but does have the moderating influence of the Concord River and St. Patrick's Cemetery. 70% of Sacred Heart is considered a heat island, with the hottest level being 2 at 16% of the neighborhood. Looking at the map, you can see the Highlands is a relatively cool neighborhood. 53% is considered a heat island, but at a low level of 1. Its moderating area is the Country Club. Lower Belvedere has almost as much impervious surface as Lower Highlands and about the same amount of canopy, but the area designated as a heat island is much less, at 74% versus Lower Highlands at 99%. This can be attributed to the effects of the Concord River that border it. To conclude, we would like to ask you to remove as much heat retaining features as possible, while also putting in as many shade sources as possible. The 3 hardest hit areas are Lower Highlands, the downtown, the Acre and Lower Belvedere are about equal in heat island effect. The best bulwark against heat islands is trees, but given the restraints in cities, we have included a list of cooling options other than trees. And in the report from last year, we also described some cooling options. I'm going to reword that. I left some extra words in there. Okay, so here we're going to go to a wicked short presentation. Okay, I got to stop my share. Okay, and I got to go. I have to talk to myself while I do this. But before I go to the cooling options, before I go to that little thing. Okay, sorry. I just want to show you the chart that Greg and Anna Christina worked on. It looks so nice. You see that?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see if can I increase the size? Sorry, I don't think I can increase the size. Okay. So this is impervious and percentage heat islands, impervious surface, and canopy. And they changed the colors, and the colors match the spreadsheet. Any comments?
It looks like you've got a light blue, a medium blue, and a dark blue and a black. Is that right?
I don't see any black.
Oh,
It's a dark blue.
that's a dark blue?
Yes.
Okay.
The first 2 are just.
How do you want to talk about this? Because people are not going to read this.
No, I'm not. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just showing you as the people who are sending out this packet. This is part of the packet.
Okay, so this is not part of the presentation. The presentation
just-
is done.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, I want to do my short little 5 slides.
Right, the cooling
Okay.
options.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm not 100% great at this, guys. So bear with me.
No, you're doing great. You're doing
All
great.
right. Okay. Okay, cooling solutions other than trees. There we go. Okay. Share the screen. Okay, great. Okay, we'll do new slideshow. Ruby. Okay. Okay, we're gonna show really briefly some cooling solutions other than trees. Okay, this is New York City, and they have gone gangbusters on painting publicly owned buildings, the roofs white, because that's shown to have a significant cooling effect. Here is permeable pavement, and as you can see, it comes in all kinds of different styles. And and not too long ago, they finally were able to create a permeable pavement that withstood snow plowing in winter. And the one on the upper left is actually in Canada. Okay, I'm sorry, go back. One of the reasons permeable pavement is so good is because you see that we have in green here. That is a cooling effect. It's less concrete, and the permeable part actually is also cool. It's literally cooler. And the other excellent thing about permeable pavement is that it helps with flooding. It allows water to be absorbed, so it's a great feature. Here we have a place, I believe this is in Spain. Notice that we have shade here, but it's not trees, it's vines, and it has a very small footprint. And here on the right, we have vines, wisteria, growing up on just basic chain link fence. You might say, oh, vines here in Lowell, aren't we too cold? But how many people have seen all the Portuguese families in Sacred Heart and South Lowell growing grapes in their backyard? So we definitely have that here in Lowell. Here we have sunshades. These are becoming very common in Australia. Our playgrounds are wicked hot in the summer. And it just happened recently. I was with my granddaughter. We were at a playground in California, and she wasn't able to play because the steel was like you could fry an egg on it. And I've seen that happen here in Lowell as well. So this would add some shade and make it more useful in the hot weather. And here we have mister. I believe this is a portable mister. They use things like this at Tokyo. They use this in Europe at tourist sites. So these are just examples of non-tree. Okay, now here's a fun thing. Back in the day, we would hear New York City, Philadelphia, Chicago, that neighborhoods would turn on the fire hydrant to get some relief. The problem with that is that you're having stuff come out at like 10,000 gallons a minute, and it really reduces the pressure. And that actually turned out to be a problem during the heat wave of Chicago in the 90s, when they went to use it for fire control purposes. They were running out of water. So what New York City does is it got some spray caps, and what it does is it allows people to come in. All you have to be is 18 and have some ID, and they'll give you a spray cap, and you can put it on the fire hydrant, and notice you can still get the sprinkler effect, but it's at a lot less power. So it's safe for the water pressure. And so that is it for the little presentation. Stopping the share. There we go. All right, okay. I think that's it. Questions, comments?
Is this being submitted to the city council? Or
Going to submit to the mayor's aide and to the council and to the
Before the- timeline? Okay, there are just a few, maybe 10 or 12 for this many pages. That's not too bad. Clarifications that we probably should, like just minor wording, or there are still some things in here that aren't complete, like insert document here that we still have in there. So there are a couple of things this needs to be like final edited.
Okay.
And there are a couple of just minor corrections and points that we probably need to clarify. So when you say like, from the chart, we can see that we aren't showing them the chart. So we change that to like the numbers say it's,
Okay.
okay. Because otherwise they're going to say, show us the chart.
Got it. That was my bad. I'm sorry. Thank you for catching that.
No, but it's like little things like that, really minor
Okay.
things, and just a few other technical points.
I will say though, the presentation was really well done.
Yeah.
I think that is very easy to understand, and I think you did a really great job with it.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to like point out that so the map is going to be on the presentation as you're talking? It would be nice to be able to point to each neighborhood as you talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they also want to see their neighborhood.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think it is really helpful that you talk about each neighborhood and give specific anecdotal information that as someone that lives in Lowell can like be like, oh yeah, that does make sense, the whole hill situation, so that it also provides some validity to the map, so that they feel comfortable that it's good data.
Okay.
I still get confused between the when you talk about level 5 at 6% or 2%, and how the downtown is 90% heat island. The percentages are hard to reconcile.
Maybe I should say something like a 90, something like downtown it has a 90% total heat island. X percent is at 3%.
And of that, 6% is level 5.
Okay,
So out of the, so 90% of there, you know, that's anything from level 1 to level 5.
Okay.
Of that whole area, 6% of the whole area is level 5.
Okay.
That level 5 is a subset.
okay. The fact that you had to explain it to our boss means there's no way in heck a city council is going to understand it. So it's very important that I clarify that. Thank you for pointing that out, Jay.
Well, let me add one more thing that I'm concerned about. I think it came out great. My concern is they're going to be beating us with a hammer on time. And so if I present this and I say it takes 10 minutes to go through, which is about what it took, and then an extra 5 minutes for the slides, which are crucial, I'm worried that they're going to say, well, cut it in half. And what do we do if they do that? Is there any way that we can do an abridged version?
Yeah. I can't do it right now, but I could do it. I could do it tomorrow.
Well, let's find out what they say. Obviously, if they'll give us the 15 minutes, then we're good.
Okay. My concern is I would want to find out sooner than later. Like finding out the day beforehand isn't ideal.
No. Well, that's why I want to get, I will present to them. I'm going to take the presentation. Either you send me PDFs or I will make PDFs of the website of the link and present that. I'm going to try to get that in tomorrow.
Okay, I'm nervous
Saturday,
about,
probably Saturday.
okay, no, I'm concerned about that because I'm not going to be able to, like, after this meeting tonight, I can't work on this. I'm going to have to work on it tomorrow morning. So so please don't send this yet.
No, I'm completely gonna wait until you guys are ready.
Okay,
But-
okay,
And I actually am on the road all day tomorrow. So
Okay,
Saturday would
'cause
be the first day.
I would like to make the changes and then have Mr. Eagle Eyes look at it and Miss Eagle Eyes. Okay,
Sounds good.
Do we have do you have another version besides the PDF version that we could make markups on?
yes,
We can put that up on the Google Drive and we can just make changes to it. That change.
okay. Okay, I'll do that while you talk
Yeah.
amongst yourselves about the summit.
Yeah, it's great. And you know, we can even cut it down, maybe if there's a sentence or two that we're like, ah, you know, that's confusing, we can cut that out, cut it down by like a minute.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Anything else?
Great job.
Yeah.
It's really so important and timely. It's been cool, but I guarantee by the time the 12th rolls around, it's gonna be hot.
Well, Greg and Anna Christina did a crap load of work with those charts and spreadsheets, and dear God, I thought I would lose my mind, but they somehow made it beautiful.
Well, you can tell, and I think that's gonna be important to the planning board and the zoning board when they take a look at this.
Yeah,
Because they're very interested in attending the same meeting and jumping on with some support.
Really good at adding in, but I'm wondering, is there a splash pad at all?
Yes, in Shed Park.
There are several splash pads. There's one at Shed Park. There's one at Mulligan Park. And I believe we have one more, but it's escaping me, the last location, but we do have a few.
I'll find them.
okay, I'll go make something in Google Drive that we can comment on, and you can do your summit thing now.
So just one question is, I think the presentation for this would be really good to have some sort of decent recording of, so that we could post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So because it's, you know, a lot of work has been put into it, and I think it this is one of those things where we're, telling a story to residents that's easily absorbable. So I think that,
Yeah, we can do like an executive summary. Couple of numbers.
I mean, even post the video.
What video?
The
Oh,
video
the
of the
video of the
I
presentation.
think
Oh, wow.
explaining it, the whole
Yeah,
thing
sure.
would be.
Well, if it gets presented at LTC. for recording.
Do we have a link to LTC? Is that easy to do?
That'd be the easiest way, yeah.
Because I know I do a show of civil engineering today in Boston, and they give us a link. That they archive the show, and then we can use it throughout the.
Yeah, I mean,
Are we-
this is something that a lot of residents would be interested in. So I think that I think that instead of, we could have the executive summary, but I think that having the whole explainer where someone can just watch and the presentation explains it really well. It's, explains the issue, explains the certain areas, and then it, goes into the possible solution. So
Okay,
I think ideally what we would get out of this is both city councilors support, but also residents saying like, hey, what's the status of this?
what do you think of this idea? I sent this to Mary. I don't know if she had a chance to look at it, but I was thinking, I was with 350 Mass, and we were sort of talking about what's going on with Urban Heat Islands, and having affected community members come that night. And the first place we thought of being, Lower Highlands, of course, because it's the hottest, would be CMAA. Like approaching them and asking them if they would be interested in having people come.
Justin Ford has been involved in that energy efficiency meeting. I wonder if he would, he'd be the person to ask. I think
Okay.
that's a good idea.
Okay, I'll connect with him then. Okay, I'll take care of that end. Anything else?
Sorry, I can't make it on the 12th, but they could, I'm willing to do a presentation to any of the councilors. or
I
anyone.
was very bummed when I heard that, because I tell you, I felt like I was a lion tamer going in without my whip.
It'll be fine. They'll do a great job. If they have technical questions, like they want to know about the data, they want to know any of the real detailed technical stuff, then they could reach out to me.
Okay,
More than willing to have my own.
Sources also on
Yeah, the sources on the map. If they want to know like what data we used, how we used it, how we crunched it.
they may be sorry they asked.
They're gonna want to know about those 55,000 data points.
Okay. Okay, I'm just careful that we don't run into summit planning time. And I want to say something about summit. If this is summit time.
Well, is there any other activity about the heat island effect? I'm going to gather the files and send them when they're ready, hopefully maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yes,
When I get home, I'll look up the spreadsheet, the full spreadsheet, I'll send it to you, and I'll take a look at the letter.
And I'll coordinate with them on timing and content, and participation, because as I talked with Dennis, it became clear that the zoning board wants to be part of this. So I think that we want to take that and run with it. That's a huge benefit. That's a great collaboration.
okay, I was just realizing something. We could submit as a package the whole script, the whole walkthrough, and then if they require us to go down to 3 minutes, I could just talk about, the top three neighborhoods that need help.
That would be the Lower Highlands, downtown, the Acre, and Lower Belvedere.
Yes,
I think that's a good strategy. And I'd stress I don't want to tell you how to do it. My suggestion, just to think about, is maybe stressing the remedies.
And, I didn't want to mention it because I think it's fine, but the image of the vines, because they have such a small footprint, you have areas where they've done that from building to building across streets. And it's like a wiring system, and depending on the time of year, they'll put up flags or they'll put up something to season. And that creates shade. It doesn't have to be lawn.
Okay, I'll mention that.
And it's permanently there.
Okay, I'll do that.
Promise.
Anything else? I think we beat this to death.
It was worth it though.
All right.
Yeah, good job.
I am pretty sick of urban heat islands, to be quite honest.
Nobody loves urban heat islands.
I guess not.
It's getting worse, too. Did you hear Europe is on fire? There's birds just dying. They're falling out of the trees. It's like 130 degrees.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, Sustainability Summit, planning for September 17th, working session number 2. I think I can introduce this. We had a summit planning meeting on June 14th, and Cormac and Caroline helped me put together a agenda and some topics that I think will be quite interesting. So let me run you through what we've decided so far. We have a schedule that runs from 10 o'clock until 1:30, and the following components are what we have listed so far. Networking and coffee from 10 to 10:20. Program intro and short presentation of the Lowell Sustainability Council accomplishments. Solution-oriented opportunity and engagement. It's going to be short and sweet, just 5 or 10 minutes. Then a local keynote, or a keynote, I should say. I'm reaching out to Manager Golden. It would make sense to get the manager involved and get his buy-in for what we're doing and communicate out to the city in that way. But if he's not available, we plan to reach out to the UMass Lowell's Rory O'Mahony from the Office of Sustainability. He would be an excellent keynote, but actually I take it back. I'm thinking that we should get the manager to present the award. So I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry. So after the program introduction with our short and sweet list of accomplishments, we'll do the keynote, and that would probably be if we can get him, Rory O'Mahony. Have you reached out to him yet, Caroline?
I don't think Caroline.
Oh,
is
she's
here.
not on? I can't see from here. I thought I saw her.
How long is the keynote?
Keynote would be 15 or 20 minutes. After the keynote, we would do a learning activity with the En-ROADS climate simulation. That's been a program that Caroline has been working on, and we did it at our last summit in 2018. I think it was 2018 or 20. No argument from AC.
No.
But that would be the next activity, and that would last for 60 to 90 minutes with question and answer. So that's a real hands-on learning process. Then we would have lunch, and then we would have the Youth Climate Change Action Awards. And I have the awards program here. I'm going to hand this out. I emailed this to everyone, so if you're on Zoom, you can download this from your computer.
Thank you.
So the idea behind the Youth and Climate Change or the student climate change competition, summer 2025, is that climate change affects all of us, obviously, but we need to engage with young people if we're going to get real progress made. Or depending just on the older population, we're not going to make as much progress. The people who have the most at stake here are the youth of our city, and if we can get them interested, like we saw at the Civics Day, they can do some pretty interesting things.
This is only for girls.
Yes. Yes, the idea is for any Lowell youth from 8th grade to 12th grade, they can participate. There's a $500 first prize. So we want some good efforts. We want to see these kids really get engaged in something that's meaningful and has some substance. There's a $250 second prize. There's a $100 third prize. These prizes are funded through the LEADS program. Leaders engaged and activated towards system-wide change, dynamic system-wide change. So it's a Harvard Business program, Harvard Business School program that's been running now for 3 years. The third round is going on this year. And so it's a great program. And it's because of that program that we're able to offer these cash awards. We have a group that received some donations and we've kind of parlayed that with some fundraising into enough money to be able to fund these awards and fund an intern for helping do some of the work of the.
I think it'll be amazing. These are very, very smart. Especially when there's money involved. We just did sustainability for our future city.
What age group was it?
This is for
I've heard of programs just like that.
yeah, I mean, they came up with the winners were from Harvard. They thought of everything. They had to remake a city. They couldn't just build a new city. They had to name one. Venice, because of the canals. They had all their water, fire engines, for fire was taken care of by the canals. And they even thought of what happens when you die. Like they had a whole program. They had this commercial break in between where they sold, you know, you want to send your loved ones to be part of the whole. They thought of everything.
Well, the idea here is to get the strength and the creative energy of the youth that we have here in the city and get them involved and employ them just in circumstances just like that. In order to get them going, the deadline to submit is Thursday, September 1st, and that would be 17 days before our summit. So that gives us a little bit of time as a council to review the applications and select the winners. We would do that. We might invite some of the city to help us, perhaps. Might even make sense to have some members of the community, some city leaders perhaps come to our meeting and help select some of the prize winners.
When do we
Yeah,
talk? When do we talk?
Let me just finish my introduction to the program. So if you read through the flyer, you'll see that there are 16 topics that the students can choose from on page 2. They can choose electrification and energy efficiency, renewable energy, green jobs, flooding, gas leaks. So they have a document that they can work with. I have a copy of it here. It's the other document that I sent by email. And for each of those topics, so for example, take renewable energy. There's a description about renewable energy on the front page of number 6, renewable energy. Then there are goals, project examples, background resources, and local resources. So there's a ton of information that the kids can go research and use to put their ideas together. And those ideas can be anything from putting a presentation together and explaining what climate change means to to a classroom of second graders, or they can create a petition and collect signatures in favor of the city supporting charging stations, or research different careers, and create posters to display at City Hall about green jobs, number 7. Number 8, environmental justice. They can study how environmental justice is concerned with how people of color, indigenous populations, low-income communities, and those with pre-existing health conditions are put at greater risk due to climate change, and design a mural to be installed at the construction fence at the Lowell High School that brings attention to this topic. So we've given them some ideas like that, but the real strength of this is not what we come up with for ideas, but what they can do.
Oh, video.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely, a video or a skit or an oral presentation, any of those things about any one of these 16 topics. So that's item number 7 on the agenda for the summit. And then after that, it'll just be next steps and closing. And hopefully those action awards, we would have the manager give an introduction, talk a little bit about the city, and then present the awards.
That's 1 to 1:30.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's gonna be.
Well, there will be if they're hoping to collect their prize money.
That's it.
Well, we've tried to invite young people before, and we haven't had enormous luck. It's hard to get kids interested in climate change. That's part of why this program, to see if there's a way that we can galvanize, energize the population. There's got to be a way to get people to rise to the occasion and come out and support this and learn. So we'll see what happens. This is kind of a pilot, right? School is out. So I know a ton of teachers through Elaine Sandelman and the administration, and I can't get any access to students through them. So we're going to the Boys and Girls Club. We're going to Girls Inc., IWCA, the YMCA, and all these community groups that have youth programs. I spoke with the YMCA a couple of days ago, and they have 300 kids out of Camp Nassau. They're not all from Lowell, but out of 300 kids, there's going to be somebody who's interested. One last thing, after the presentation on the 17th, we would do a celebration at City Council, and we would have hopefully a honorarium. I talked to Ratty Mom. The state delegation will come up with a certificate. Hopefully we can get one from Laurie Trahan's office, and give more recognition to the program at City Council. So that would be an offshoot from the summit. It's a little bit off the topic. Those are the agenda items, and let's open up the floor to conversation. When I think you had a question.
You're looking at me, I can't tell. All right, I'll assume you're looking at me. Can you go back to the deliverables? Can you go back to how they're supposed to present this information?
Sure, it can be a skit, it can be a petition, it can be posters, it can be a film. It's up to them.
So did you put in their film or video?
Yes.
Okay, and explain the skit thing. Is the skit going to have to be on video, or are we going to have what's the skit business about?
Well, it's if you're the student, then you tell me. It's going to be it's going to be up to the student applicant to come up with the idea.
It'll probably be on a video on the.
Okay. And also you might want to mention TikTok. Isn't kids TikToking like crazy these days?
Yeah, no,
Now-
that's a good idea. I wish I had done that. I guess it's not too late. I can add to this.
The other thing is that you're talking about having folks come in and help judge.
Yes.
I hope you're thinking about having someone from DPD come in.
We can invite anybody that we want.
Okay, DPD, and then also, do we know any systems people from UMass? You know what I mean? Systems design, systems engineer? You're looking blankly, like you don't know what I'm talking about. No one knows what I'm talking about?
Well, I
Okay,
just don't know any systems people that come to my,
okay, well, let's go to Carolyn. Carolyn knows anybody who knows anybody. If Carolyn doesn't know it, then they're not worth knowing.
there you
And
go.
then the other thing is, I'd like to bring in at least one artist to judge.
That's a great idea. Excuse me.
Presumably, we do win by a skit that they did on a TikTok or something.
Yep.
How can we air it there while we're giving people get to see?
Yeah, I don't think that we have to show all the awards. We can decide who the award winners are and have some evidence of that presentation. If it's a TikTok, I think we could show it. If it's, we have LTC, if we can't do
Okay,
multimedia at LTC, we're in big trouble. And if it's a mural on the construction fence at the high school, we can show slides of it. If it's demonstrating to a second grade classroom, that could just be, well, second grade teacher said this was a wonderful presentation. Okay. So, I think, and I think that would be that's a pretty low bar. I think we could do better than that.
that's what the video take that.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Wait a minute, how is a kid over the summertime going to be able to give this presentation to a second grade class?
They could organize the presentation and have it ready to go. You're right. They couldn't present to the class during the competition. You're right. So that's a bad example. Now that you're pointing out a failing of my examples. That's probably not a good example.
Well, they could be in one of those programs.
Yeah, they could present to kids at Camp Massapot. They could do
There you go. There
so
you go.
What is the date? Because I'm,
September 17th.
won't they be back in school by now?
They will, but the competition ends on September 1st, which is
Oh, I
before
see.
school. And this is really, didn't someone say the word
Oh, yes, right.
trial basis or pilot? This is like a pilot. We do our best to get kids engaged this year, and we see how it goes. And we apply the lessons that we learned to next year. And next year we do it during the school season when people are more. I think it'll be harder to get people to the table now because you've got to go through the various organizations. That's not going to be as easy. What about, it's free.
Oh, it's- Ready?
Even you.
Especially if
For anyone not on council.
Yeah, the summit is free.
Oh.
And what we do is we try to get food donations. So we need volunteers to get food donations, although Cormac has already volunteered. I'm going to talk with a couple. We should be doing pretty good for food. I think we're going to need a planning meeting because we only have a few minutes left. I don't want to with summit planning.
Yeah, one thing to just add is I ended up finding on the Lowell Public Schools website, they have listed the different Lowell summer resources, so the different summer camps. So I just put on sent an email, like if anybody's interested in, Jay, myself, and Carolyn are reaching out to a few, but if anybody's interested in helping out, reach out to them and see if they might be interested. having, we can do the presentation to the group there. But, you know, just getting the foot in the door to get us in front of them to hopefully, because the main goal is to try and get a decent amount of students that are applying, kids that are applying. That it's a successful first year.
Is this information going to be on a website that I could link to?
Yes, it's on the Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust website for one.
Because I could put this on Lowell Live Feed. Could put
Oh,
it on
that's a
this,
wonderful idea.
put it on our LSC Facebook. Oh, Cormac, I've been bombarding you. Have you been throwing that stuff on Facebook?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm up to date with it. I don't
All
believe
right. All right, don't want to be too annoying, but all of a sudden I get inspired and I throw stuff at you.
Yeah, we should, maybe we can, at some point we can try to do a Zoom and see if I can figure out what might be going on as far as your Facebook postings getting taken down.
I gave up. Let's move on. Wasn't meant to be. I don't know why. It hates me.
Done deal.
All right.
Boy, there's a group of us.
Yes.
I think that's good for that.
Any comments on the rest of the agenda? Are people feeling excited? I'm excited about doing the En-ROADS climate simulation. But how do other people feel?
Lot of fun.
Assuming, what are they gonna use? Will we have a bank of computers that I'm using?
No, it'll be probably moderated. Carolyn moderates it and acts as the Secretary General.
Okay,
So she'll say, okay, what do you want to do, oil producing group? And-
okay,
and
so it'll
you'll
just be a
say,
big
Yeah, I think it's
presentation
gonna be on
screen.
presentation, they'll
Yeah.
probably delegate between themselves to choose the selections that
Yeah.
they. I think Carolyn's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Have you all gone through this En-ROADS simulation? I have, and it's pretty amazing. It's very approachable.
yeah,
What is this? The whole doc system?
oh yes, that's the next item. Are we done
Oh, I
with the
thought
summit?
this was the summit. I thought that was the summit.
It was going to be part of the summit. I just wanted to clarify that. But let's just finish up on the summit. Is there any other? Oh, I think we need a meeting for summit planning.
They have that address thing.
I do, yes, I'm so sorry we missed you.
I'm
I'm
right around the
so
corner from you,
bummed.
but I'm literally over the hill. I'm on Middlesex Street for work, so. it's
Oh,
very
really?
easy for me to get there. Yeah,
Wow. That's fantastic. Would you come?
yeah, I'll come to.
Well, let's look at a date. And we're gonna have to check this with Caroline. Tuesday nights work well. Are there nights that are good or bad for you?
As long as it's after 6. Nighttime is not bad. It's the day.
Yeah. Okay,
Really personal.
so Tuesday night, the 12th, we're in front of City Council. So maybe Tuesday, the 5th, that's the day after, that's the day after a long holiday. And it works for me. Cormac?
I could come that night too.
That would be great.
What time?
What time did we do? Was it 6:30?
And where is it at your house?
Yes,
Anytime after 6.
yes, I've got if the weather is decent, I've got a great place outside.
Oh, La Tida. Okay.
It
Sounds
is.
good.
It looks like I drove by and I
Yeah.
noticed it goes down. It's like this.
Yeah, no, it's better to park in the school lot. across
There
the
is
street.
parking.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay, all right, I
Yeah,
know where
the
that
parking
is.
lot across the street is perfect. apartment school.
It's semi-private.
It's parking for a 5-unit building.
Yeah.
And so you have to be respectful of their right to park. 6 to 7:30.
The last time we got a beautiful,
We did. It was gorgeous. Really pretty.
looking at falls.
And we never saw the fish jump.
Yeah, this is good for me. You want me to create an event for that?
That'd be great.
Send them.
Yes, please. Yeah, 6:30 rather than 6.
Last time we said.
Oh, okay.
How many people normally? Actual summit,
No, it'd be more like 50.
50?
We can only fit between 50 and 60
Okay.
area.
Love to cook.
Nice. That's wonderful. What do you like to cook? Really?
Got some experimental items that go out the window. Or have some that keep that. Batch of pizza nice.
Uh-huh.
Ham hock? You never had ham hock?
Cormac's vegan.
Oh, ham hock is from a ham. And it's like, it's a big ham bone, it has a lot of marrow, and the marrow is almost like butter. Like hammy butter. I'm not vegan. Did do vegan.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I wasn't doing it. You have,
Did someone say hammy butter? Is that what I heard?
Understand. Say it again?
Is someone talking about ham?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
I was saying that I could cook, or if we don't get enough food donations, I can always cook. We'll wait and see what else.
It's good to have a multi-skilled sustainability council. That's the way to sustain. All right, so that's great. That's our planning meeting. And I think we can move on. I'm sorry if we took a little extra time there.
When am I adding you to that meeting invite?
Yes. We're the cool kids now.
The next item on the agenda, decision to hold off on sustainability awards to confirm. I wanted to just make sure as a body, we had this agenda item has to do with an award that I'd like to see us get back to presenting, but I don't think we can fit it into this year's summit. I don't think we have enough bandwidth to put an awards program together in addition to everything else that we're trying to do for summit planning. And
Define these awards. What are you talking about?
when we started the Sustainability Council, back when it was the Green Building Commission, we used to give out awards to a community member and to a individual for efforts made in advancing the cause of sustainability. So for example, UTEC got an award for their solar system. We gave an award to UMass for the engineering building that they put together that's LEED platinum. We gave an award to a 5th grade class for putting together a a GoFundMe page and raising money to solarize their classroom. So
Okay,
a lot of different,
you know who would be great to give an award to? Catherine Moses.
yeah, that's a great idea. Well, I'm not against trying to reinvigorate the awards, but we just need someone who can take charge of it. And I can't do it, and I didn't know that there was anyone that was interested in maintaining the awards. It's not that hard. It's just a matter of, I have the flyers from before, but we have to do the outreach and get the information out to the public. And that would take some effort, but I think it would be well worth it. I just can't do it myself.
So you're saying we solicit from the public ideas or people or?
Yeah, like
programs?
nomination.
Okay. So it's another big publication publicizing thing.
Yeah, the idea for sort of scrapping it for this year was just that we were already sort of taking on the student climate change competition.
Yeah,
Maybe, you know, we try to put everything into this and get something good out of it, and then going into next year, you know, if we still have, you know, we have a little bit more momentum, we can maybe take on another one.
I think we can invigorate it after the summit. It would give us something to focus on and promote.
We're
Yeah.
not trying to squeeze in too many projects prior
Yeah.
to.
I hear you.
Are we in agreement that we should put off the awards until after the summit?
Yes.
I don't think we need a vote on it. I just want to know that we're all on the same line.
Right.
All right, that takes us to subcommittee updates. And the only update that I think we had was on Heat Island. I do have a minor update on the high school. I spoke with one of the administrators this week, and I'm trying to get more interest in doing anything to get solar on the high school. I talked with Catherine Moses this week, and she has not been able to move ahead with the request for proposals that they put out. Corey Robertson had a motion in December, I think, about doing solar on up to 24 public buildings, and it's still in the DPD. It hasn't been released yet. So that's 6 months of inaction. They're worried about procurement. They're worried about somebody getting an advantage over somebody else and the city being harassed or sued because of the unfairness of
Yeah, I think
Don't
competition.
they have to
That's the
solicit
big process.
bids?
Yeah.
You can only choose one. You have to get.
They as in DVD.
Yeah.
Just
Well, Catherine told me that it's not out yet. So I went and met with somebody from the high school, and I urged him to help me. He had a meeting coming up with the city procurement officer. And the city procurement officer is the one who has to deal with procurement law. And so I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know where that stands, but you know, 6 months is a long time for this thing to not happen. So I would like the support of the Sustainability Council to just say, to allow me to go back to the city and say that the council really wants to see something happen. You know, can we go back to the stage where we're looking at a power purchase agreement for the high school? And that was going to be a modest $20,000 or $30,000 a year reduction in energy rate for the benefit of putting solar panels on the building.
Well, what phase of construction are they? I mean, if they already did all the electrical, it might be a lot of money to convert now.
No, because it's required by the state. The MSBA funds most of the cost of the school. And because of the MSBA, that they have a program that says you have to be solar ready,
Okay.
any project of a certain size. So it's ready. It's just a matter of throwing the panels down, essentially.
Oh,
So they have
and
to
the-
get,
yeah.
they have to get the bids out.
Right.
Well, they have to get the bids out, right?
Right.
And there's a PPA program that started with the Power Options Group that does municipal installations all over the state. And they have secured the rights to doing procurement without going to public bid. They have a special process
Oh.
that they've been granted.
Yeah.
And so we tried to go through them.
Yeah.
Well, they've done this
That
with,
sounds shadier. than what we're
Yes,
saying
that
before.
somebody's.
Yeah, and also that they have control over X% power and the panels, and
Do they
you have to
work
grant
with-
them an easement
they
to the
work with
roofs. It
local?
just seems like-
Can we ask the city to just put out an like a request for proposals? And just have someone ready to go and
we've
maybe
been,
interested?
the RFP has been sitting on Catherine's desk since December or January.
But you don't have to move on. Take bids and then not do anything with it.
Right.
Also, are they looking at
It'll
any
take time
local
to get bids.
suppliers?
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the immediate area that's a local supplier? You can get lots of points.
I don't
You don't have to, cost of big trucks hauling the panels. Any supplier?
Yeah, there's right on.
Are this?
I think.
I know they had a tough time. I don't know.
You could ask their people.
So in the interest of power options, there's really nothing shady about power options work.
Right.
Listen, power option works that way to facilitate clean energy across the Commonwealth. It makes it easier. So I just wanted to remove that. There's nothing shady about power options. It's for the benefit of the Commonwealth, and they have done this for a lot of high schools, including Newton, which actually has a VRF, a more advanced clean energy heating system. So we should not just dismiss or actually say, that their system is shady. The system is that way so that the rest of the state can actually benefit. It's not, it's to make things happen. Secondly, I don't think it's that easy in this market to make decisions on solar panels. I have a huge solar project in the state, in different places, and it's taken us a while. We have been talking about this, reading through agreements. It's more than 6 months, almost 8 months. So I think it would be nice to just find out exactly what about procurement does Catherine or whoever it is at the city they are struggling with. Is it because they cannot choose the right investor if they are using a PPA system, or what exactly is the issue going on? Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. I'm so frustrated because I should be able to answer the question. I don't know how to. I asked Catherine, what could the council do to help her? And she said nothing. So, the only other way to take it is politically, is to go back to city council, I think. And Catherine doesn't want to do that. So I don't want to go and step on her shoes, but I also feel like there's got to be something we can do.
So I'm not taking Catherine's side right now. What I'm saying is that the worst thing in this market would be to go down the political route, because this is not a political issue. The problems that are ongoing right now, how hard it's becoming to close, solar deals. There is more that's industrial that's affecting some of these decisions. I mean, it's unfortunate that Catherine is not saying exactly what resource that she needs, because if she was really saying exactly what her problem is, there may be a lot of solutions out there, you know, or advice that she can get from folks who do this every single day. The thing is, if you go the political route, what's going to happen is that people will try to make a solar decision emotionally. I saw this in Haverhill. It doesn't end well. Sometimes you get you get an investor because their plan was a PPA and they got a good investor, but they had too much, you know, drama ongoing and too many emotions. Folks end up choosing the worst deal for the next 25 or 20 years.
It sounds like we're not yet at the point of having the sort of offers in hand, because there isn't anything out there that's asking for offers,
They're not
right?
putting it out.
And so I think it's more so make sure that just the RFP is created and submitted, to at least get the offers coming in.
You know what the square footage is?
Oh, there's many.
Not to make
Yeah,
any
it's-
decisions, but just to get the ball rolling.
It looks.
30,000.
You will be surprised at how long I've been getting the ball rolling, and it's for a private investor.
It's just to submit an RFP.
I don't know what Catherine's problem is. Are you saying that she's not going to submit the RFP out there, or?
Right, that the RFP, Jay was asking about submitting the RFP 6 months ago, and nothing's changed.
Well, she's
And she-
stalling on submitting the RFP
Well,
for some
yes,
reason.
and I'm wondering if you call suppliers, especially local suppliers, like at least 3 of them, and tell them, hey, we're hoping to see an RFP, they might call her and say, is there going to be an RFP? I'm putting solar.
How would that make her move faster?
Does anyone like have a
There's the
copy
bids.
of the
No,
RFP?
there's even less work to do. You have already 3 people asking for bids in.
Is that how RFPs work? I
No.
thought
No,
RFP,
no, no,
you
it's
just
Request
put
for
it out
proposal.
there. Put it out there, right? Yeah, and then they find you.
They find it.
Oh. RFP. Well, I mean, I don't,
City puts
maybe
it on
for
their
something like
website.
that.
Yeah.
I'm
Look
talking,
for that.
I only know the MBTA and
I'm sorry, Mary, what were you saying?
I forgot.
I think you asked if if anyone has a copy of the RFP, I think.
Yeah, that would be nice to see.
I can get a copy of it, I think.
So she has it, it's just not public, or it's public already and there just haven't been responses?
No, it hasn't been public. It hasn't gone out there.
Got it.
is there
Gotcha.
other reason? Costing too much money? Is that why?
I
she's
think
afraid
she's saying that they're holding off on releasing the RFP because they're worried about the procurement process. They're worried that if they released it, certain companies are going to bid on it, other companies are not going to bid on it. It's going to seem like some conflict of interest, favoritism. She wants to avoid that. When you said, I mean, did you imply that when you were saying that the procurement process, he's worried about?
How she would pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no- There's no set
I think
protocol right
there's a
now.
perception of a concern for impropriety, but it hasn't been identified to me in tangible terms what that concern is. So I really don't know. I just know that it's not out there, and it's frustrating because it's something that would benefit the city in such a big way. And it seems like there's got to be something we can do to move that all forward a little bit.
I agree with you.
Oh, yeah. When-
Because it's no way. People who have supplies at all right now.
Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't just stay in the dark about that.
Yeah. So should we just ask Sophie to ask?
Can we go out and try to find out what the heck?
I can ask. I don't know if I will get a straight answer.
Why
but
don't
I
we
can
do
ask.
this? Why don't we do this? Why don't, through Sophie, we ask DPD, what can the Sustainability Council do to help get that RFP released and on the street? Then at least we've asked the question formally and it's hanging out there, and another 6 months go by. We can say, well, look, we asked you 6 months ago to try to move this forward. At least it's something.
I think asking
just-
what we can do to help is different than asking what we want the answer to, which is what's standing in the way.
Right, yeah, I think that I could see the answer actually being there's nothing that you can do to help. I
Exactly.
think that,
Um,
but I think that asking the question of what is holding up the RFP being submitted, there might be a real reason.
Yeah, totally.
She might say
Yeah.
like we, we're predicting that, we're gonna get a better deal if we, submit it in the winter or something,
Yep,
something.
yep.
But just to understand so that, we're not looking at it as if like the high school is gonna lose out on an opportunity to install solar while it's under construction to make it the most efficient and, cost-effective installation.
So if I were the person asking this question, I would not ask about the RFP. I would ask about the greater goal, which is to have solar in the high school. Yeah, like, because that's who we are. We're the Lower Sustainability Council. And anyway, this is just me thinking politically, and that's what I think the question would be from my end, rather than directly asking about the RFP. Because when you ask directly about the RFP, it actually seems like you're more interested in dealing with the inner workings of, inner workings of the city. But if you shape the question in terms of solar and the opportunity, just what you just said before I spoke, about what's going on with not having, taking the opportunity of having solar when the school is being constructed, something like that. And I am not saying that you haven't asked this question, but I think in this work, you do need alliances, and it is best if you actually shape the questions in a more politically correct manner.
So is the question, what does Lowell want to see for solar on the Lowell High School, or there's a better way to word that?
I guess is the plan for solar on the high school, does the plan for solar on the high school include installation of the solar panels during the major construction phase of the Lowell High School?
Yeah.
Or is it planned to be a retroactive installation?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the idea of solar on the high school, water under the bridge at this point by 2 years. So that question that we asked 2 years ago, we're at the RFP process. We're at the let's figure this and
Press the
get
button,
going on it.
see, because it's the best
Yeah,
price
but
and the
that's
best-
almost perfect wording, just, if we don't want to talk about the actual RFP. There might be some reason they're keeping it close to the vest, who knows why.
Did
Yeah,
you
but-
hear the wording, Mary?
Yeah,
You
I
agree
heard
with
your
that?
wording, and I actually like that, because that the wording that you just presented gives us an opportunity to hear a response, and the response we hear gets us closer to really getting to the RFP question. But from my the way I deal with state politics, climate change politics, and I found that the way you ask things is quite is quite good. Because Catherine is going nowhere. She's here in Lowell. She's working here. She's gonna be working here for a while. let's not fast, or somebody else. Maybe it's not even Catherine holding this question. Maybe it's somebody else and we don't even know.
So if we get the
In
wording.
this phase,
exactly.
I did not get the exact.
do you want to do it this construction phase or is it?
It is the plan for the Lowell High School regarding solar involved installation of the solar panels during the major construction of the high school, or will it be a retroactive installation? Plan to be a retroactive installation.
It's planned to be they don't plan to do it during construction of the high school.
No, but it could be done during the same period as the finishing construction. So before all the walls are painted, will the solar panel and the electrical boxes and stuff that need to be installed while the whole under in a construction phase, because like I would imagine that big of an array would involve creating a new construction zone, right? And while the whole thing is a construction zone, are the solar panels
Not always.
No,
Not always.
they're interested in
I
doing.
said not always, regardless of how big the array is. We are working on very old buildings with serious, huge solar arrays. People are living there right now. So it doesn't have to be during a major, the major construction part of the
No, I
building.
understand. No, I understand that doesn't need to be done during the major construction phase, but that I would imagine that there would be some cost savings to be had to have a major solar installation be completed while the building is used as a construction zone versus it having fresh paint on the walls and
Yeah, I mean, is there a phase of construction
So
where it makes the most
where sense to install panels?
so
They will say, because I've asked this, they will say, well, we don't need to do it now. It's not in our budget. We can do it anytime. It's solar ready. We have the ability to come back in and put those panels on at any point.
But they're gonna say that anyway, right? If that's the part of the
That's the
construction
state.
plan, then are we
and
asking,
why would we want the RFP to go out now?
because it's gonna take a while to get bids?
because
And panels.
It's a hot market out there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no supply.
What's the procurement time?
Yeah.
The lead time?
Right, to ideally not have it be the Lowell High School is built and then 5 years later.
Yeah.
The panels get put on, because I mean, 5 years could be, close to the ROI on the system,
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Um,
I think that's what our interest would be, is that opportunity is not forgone, like the 5 years into the project. But I can see why, like through my work, I do asset management, and I know that if a project is in construction, we don't try to hurry up with the closing solar bids, because if it's an investor who's putting in the way the equation is, as far as the return of the investor, or there must be like where we must be able to demonstrate savings. And most of these projects the savings have been projected based on occupancy. So putting solar on a building that's not occupied is not that cool.
That's not an issue though, because the high school will be occupied this fall. They're gonna be starting to use the gym right away.
Oh my God, then they need to close their solar thing as soon as possible.
Yes,
I think the question is, does the solar plan for the high school involve installing the system as soon as possible?
Or in which construction?
Yeah, They should, I mean, if
You said
there'll
it's
be
a hot market.
occupancy.
You know what the lead time is to get a solar panel? To get how, enough to cover 3,000 square feet?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's been a tough supply market there. We do construction where I work, but at least folks some of our deals are like 36 months.
Right,
Like,
that's what I,
36 months?
that's what I would kind of expect for something this big,
Which is why you need.
yeah.
very good construction.
Maybe
Because it's not-
maybe they don't know that.
But it's not gonna happen until after the.
What?
I'd say maybe.
Well, lead times
There's
have
a lot-
changed.
this
We
is-
can mention that. Lead times have changed, they're getting longer. We think our patient.
I mean, this is such a detail-oriented build. Of
I really don't know a lot about it.
We gotta wrap this up.
State of the art, thanks.
Yeah. Jay, I think if there's going to be occupancy, you're right on it. If it's going to be occupied by the fall, then you should do whatever means that will force this discussion to happen. I didn't think that they'll have occupancy soon. But if they're having occupancy soon and the lead times are the way they are, then they should just be getting on with that.
Do you think that we should ask for the RFP? Or is that still?
I still hesitate with the RFP. The
for a
word
better
RFP.
wording that you might suggest?
The wording that you had used, but I mean, you do know that talking about negotiating in politics doesn't have to be written. You can just write the thing that you want to ask, but go out there and talk to somebody face to face and tell them, hey, this is not acceptable.
Well, we can start it by saying, given expected lead times or given, supply chain issues that we expect to have years. And we should get this going. But start off by saying, we won't put a date. Start off by saying, everybody knows there's supply chain issues. There's lead time issues. The more you extend this, the worse it's going to be.
It's a forever building.
Yeah.
We're
it's a
gonna have
forever
this
building.
forever. So the
But we
sooner
also
that
don't
put this
want to
on-
get to 10 years and have nothing happen, because they didn't move on it now.
Well, I mean, just in the sense of like, it makes, because it's a forever building, it makes the most sense to add the solar panels.
Yeah.
Because, like.
They need
only
to start the
better.
process right away. I mean,
Yeah.
36 months, 3 years, might not get enough panels for 3 years.
So how about this question? Let's see if we can't agree on a question to ask. Time is of the essence. Does the solar plan for Lowell High School involve installing as soon as possible?
No, because as soon as possible, it's 3 years.
So,
I think. Given the lead time and everything else, with supply chain. That's-
what's the question then?
Well, given supply chain issues and lead time,
Time is of the essence.
yeah, we, as a council, feel we need to move on this much sooner rather than later. I'm just, yeah.
I like it.
You're a cheerleader.
Uh,
Cheerleader.
Go for it.
we are concerned that we will lose the opportunity to make this happen in a timely manner.
Size doesn't hurt.
You can just ask, like, what's
We
the
don't begin the
timeline and where
process
the
right
roadblocks?
away.
I'm sorry, Michaela, what was that?
You can just ask maybe if there's a planned timeline and if there are any like roadblocks to that timeline or anything standing in the way.
Anything we can help.
Yeah, well, or is there a planned timeline? Are there any roadblocks that? Because then you're kind of pinpointing the actual,
Well, we want to know when it's gonna happen
You
yeah,
also,
and if there's any like steps that they've already taken or whatever, you know?
Probably won't get an answer. to that,
No,
but-
right.
But at least we're asking. the question.
It makes them.
I don't know if it's just gonna be currently in process.
Right.
You know,
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised if they come
And there's
back
nothing
and
that you
they're
can
gonna
do.
say, yeah, nothing you can do. Thank you.
And then last my card, it doesn't look like I got a ticket, but it told us the parking, so things are.
Oh, no, after 6 it's free. So given the supply chain issues and lead times, time is of the essence. The Sustainability Council feels we must act sooner rather than later. We're concerned we'll lose the opportunity. Is there a planned timeline? And does the solar plan for the high school involve installing as soon as possible?
Oh, yeah, but we don't have to.
As soon as
that's-
possible.
I think
That
that
sounds very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should read it, you should say it. You're not gonna read it.
Yeah.
Oh, you read it.
Well, actually, I'm gonna email it to Sophie. Sophie,
Yeah, there you go.
Just a little.
Just a little swing over the plate.
That way it's coming internally.
coming from a .gov.
A trusted source.
I'm gonna go with Mary's suggestion that we stay away from the RFP, although, my heart of hearts, I just want to go in for the jugular and ask about the RFP, but I want to be sensitive to everybody's input and respectful of the majority. So I think we've got a 3-point request here that we can at least throw out there and see what happens.
Jay, you can still ask about the RFP in person,
Yeah.
direct.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly, I want to move to the last item. I know it's late, but Gunther Wellenstein gave me some bills to support, and I don't feel that the council can immediately support anything, but I have Senate Bill 569, which is about a mattress stewardship plan. It's about saving money that the cities have to pay to dispose of mattresses. Boston has to pay. Yeah, it's in your email. It's Senate Bill 569. It costs $50 a unit in Boston, and they have to dispose of 70 to 100 each day, it said. So it costs the city nearly $2 million a year. So I extrapolate to Lowell. Lowell's probably paying, a lot of money, maybe $100,000, maybe more, for throwing mattresses away that people just leave. And if we could get this bill passed, the manufacturers it would be like the bottle bill, only it would be for mattresses.
So
So,
the mattress providers would have to provide a program.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shouldn't there be some kind of coordination with UTEC? Don't they have their own?
yeah,
network?
UTEC would be a likely vendor for dealing with this
okay.
program.
I'm sure
They'd get
it's
a
the Amazon-
contract.
the Amazon mattress.
But I don't want to do anything tonight. All I'm asking is
Yeah.
that the council take a look in your email. And, well, actually, we just have to vote. Do we want to examine these bills? One's a mattress bill, the other is a paint recycling bill. And Gunther asked if we would support them. I'm happy to support them, but not without investigating. So I printed out both bills.
They're in there.
I have a
They're all-
copy.
it's-
I have a copy here, a hard copy, and then I've emailed everybody a
Is
copy.
it less than 50?
Yes,
Yes, but it's 80% glossary.
Yeah, the bill is actually quite short. This is 13 pages on the mattress bill. And the paint bill is short. Paint bill is 7 or 8.
So when do we need to do?
Next week, we do a letter next meeting.
So when are we? Yeah, yes, why don't we?
Put it
Talk
that
about
All right, so I make a motion that we examine the paint bill and the mattress bill and review towards writing a letter next meeting. Just, do I hear a second? All right. All in favor?
I think this is, a good use of our time.
I see some hands on the Zoom screen. So, all right, so we'll do that. I know Gunther would appreciate it, and he's been such a good service to Lowell. I'd like to help him out and honor his request.
And I don't know where I heard this, but I don't wanna. Thought that Lowell, they had, the kids had some kind of program where they come and get your mattress.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah,
Oh,
you take us. Yeah, so they would be a likely vendor to be involved in this program.
Yeah, $10 or $15, which is why people don't.
But it goes to kids or something.
It does, but that doesn't stop putting them on the street. They don't want to pay.
Are you kidding me?
I think it's more
Absolutely.
than $15.
It's $25 now. And they've
But it is a very, I
they've
think, well, I think
cracked down on where
Okay,
they
so
go.
I think that, I just want to mention, I think that this, I'll try to write it down, but I think that this would be a good thing also put on the Facebook, just to let people know.
Oh, great.
Because I think that
Yeah.
also, I don't think that it's necessarily just about the money. I think that it's also just not
Yeah, I don't think.
what to do with.
Not
Yeah, they
only
don't know
that,
what to
but I can tell you,
Yeah.
it's a transient population. I see mattresses out all the time in front of like rental houses, more than one family house. So I think for students, they don't care.
It's also not the easiest to get a hold of the tech.
Go online. They won't come on private property. If you're a condo, you literally have to take it off your property
Oh,
and put it on the street. And of course, you get the ticket. So actually, at our condo with 103 units, we're kind of at some weird impasse because we're like, we used to be able to come on into our parking lot, they won't do that. Now we have to make people put it on the street, worried about getting it. So there's kind of
there is one final item of new business, Folk Festival.
yeah,
We had talked, Carolyn was going to do a schedule for Folk Festival, but they haven't given us a table. I don't, are they gonna wait till the night before? Sophie, do we know what this update is?
So my understanding about Folk Fest is that they're still basically in the earlier stages of planning and they don't.
For what year?
For this year, but they typically don't put out registration for tables until like their very last phase of planning, and they haven't reached that point yet, but basically they prioritize anybody who has been interested, anybody who's reached out and basically said, I want a table at Folk Fest, they will give priority to those groups first. But
a table.
Were they
Yeah.
like super understaffed
what's
this
that
year?
about?
yes,
That's
So-
what it sounds like,
yeah, so basically,
We do have a meeting before the Folk Festival.
How does-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff on the table, talk to
Stuff.
people.
Yeah,
I
We'll
did that.
put these out for sure.
Oh,
so
yes, absolutely.
So basically, the LSC has priority for a table. Once they have opened up registration, they will send all of the information that you need to register to me, and then I'll send it to you. And then if there's extra tables left over for groups that have not yet expressed their interest, then the registration is open to those groups.
It's also a good way. People in the city, random people.
So where do
Definitely.
you
Another-
sit? Where's the table? Because I've been to the folk
It's
fest.
on Green
On the-
Street.
on the street.
It's,
Some of the main ones.
yeah, oftentimes it'll be on Merrimack Street. That's where it was last year.
Yeah.
Last time. And we can promote the summit. We can talk to people about our goals and accomplishments, and we can promote the youth program.
And we're only doing one day, I think. Everybody, few people could do it. I guess people would do too. So
Yeah,
it's ideally 2 people.
okay,
So I'll keep you updated. As soon as I know, you will also know.
all right, thanks.
Good thing.
Anybody have anything else?
Oh, it's a problem.
Can I have some of that home cooking
Oh,
that's waiting for you, that you prepared?
I did not prepare, so I'm actually gonna probably go get any soup dumpling. I love those. That's my old uncle.
Have a new job?
Jimmy. He's kind of a jerk, but I really like.
That's a really nice room for meetings.
It is. Unfortunately, we can't get televised here, so I don't think we can stay here.
We'll be here in August too. The August meeting will also be in this room, if you'd like to come join us here.
There's a nice
Wow.
whiteboard in the back here.
Are we still being recorded?
We are.
He's a juvenile. He got put on probation at school.
That's
All the
awesome.
dogs going. Got them all going crazy. There was only like 3 or 4 handfuls.
Okay, well, I'm respectful of people's schedules and it's getting late, so I want to see if we have a motion to adjourn. That, all in favor? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time to go.